Hello again. I'm Tim, the Minnesota firefighter with the arm form of melanoma cancer. Today's a big day for me. 6 months ago, I started treatment on December 21st. At the time, I considered it an early Christmas present to get started. As I mentioned before, I had symptoms that appeared to be like a hemorrhoid. Went to my primary, got referred to a surgeon. Surgeon ultimately determined that I had melanoma. Uh, you know, my dad used to talk about somebody that's unprepared as, boy, he was just sitting around with his thumb up his ass. Well, I can tell you I wasn't sitting around with my thumb up my ass. And even if I had, I'm not sure I would have saw this coming. The early symptoms, pain and discomfort like a hemorrhoid. And I got to tell you, regardless of what some of the other firefighters might say, I didn't see this coming. So, as I said, why couldn't I see this coming? After all, as often as I have my head in my ass, it should have been right there in front of my eyes, right? I have a really transparent face. When I've got stuff going on up here, it usually displays here. So I let people know pretty early on, the people in key roles, because I certainly didn't want to be distracted and thinking about my situation and have people wonder, geez, what's up his ass? Especially when they had no idea what truly was up my ass. I think it's pretty clear to most people now just exactly what was up my ass at the time, and may still well be there. One of the things I thought was interesting is as you're sharing information with people. In my case, I started doing these videos because it was, you tell the story so many times. And certainly when you have a group of people that you want to tell all at once, but some of them are busy or they're not in that day, so you tell a few people in the morning and you go through the whole story. Oh, I went to the doctor because I had this thing I thought was a hemorrhoid. He referred me to a surgeon. The surgeon said, hey, that's not a hemorrhoid. I think you might have cancer, but we got to check this out. You do some imagery, some testing, you do a biopsy. It's a pretty complicated story. But after you've told that story 2 or 3 times in a single day, by the time you get the last person, you go, and I had an itchy butt, and now I've got cancer. So it does kind of simplify it in some ways, but it does make it a little bit weird. For the past few weeks, I've referred to my journey as being weird. It's weird because I'm not doing chemotherapy, I'm not doing radiation, and as a result, I'm not dealing with the side effects that are typically associated with cancer. I've been doing immunotherapy treatment, and my body seems to be responding really well to it, so I haven't spent a lot of time sick. I get tired, I get fatigued, I get pretty wiped out at times, but it's nothing compared to the side effects of traditional cancer treatment. More recently, I actually, just in the last couple days, have referred to my journey as magical. And the reason I say it's magical is that my doctors have all been in agreement from day one. Hey, we aren't familiar with what you have, but we want to get you someplace where they are familiar with this. We want to get you someplace where they have knowledge and experience of your particular form of cancer. That's what got me to Mayo in the first place. The dual immunotherapy treatment, I get a needle stick every time I go in. I don't have a port, I don't have a PICC line, so they have to go looking for the vein each time. So you find me getting up in the morning, and if people ask, do you have a drinking habit? Well, yeah, I have a drinking habit because I'm pounding water for first thing in the morning and up until the time I get to the lab, so that they can draw that blood. And when you're going through cancer treatment, they draw multiple vials of blood. They're checking over 24 different factors in your blood, which means that they stick you, and as they're doing the vials, a lot of us don't like watching that, but we can hear those tinkling around. Sounds like a six-pack of beer being iced down as they get all of the vials done. I had one time I went to get my blood drawn, and it was just one of those days. You don't want to be on the receiving end of somebody's bad day, but sometimes it happens. They put the tourniquet on, they found the vein after 2 or 3 tries. They start to draw the first vial of blood. The tourniquet flew off, almost hit the ceiling. They dropped the vial on the floor, and I'm like, oh my God, am I going to even make it out of here alive? But they eventually got the blood. That same day, I went in for the treatment shortly after that, and because I don't have a pick and I don't have a port, they got to find a vein. 3 nurses and 5 sticks later, they found the vein. So again, when I say I got a drinking problem, the problem is I got to make sure I'm plenty hydrated, because I want those veins where they can find them. I don't want any fishing expeditions. I don't want them playing harpoon the whale when they stick it in there and fish around looking for the vein. I want it to be first time every time. Cancer touches so many lives, and I realize that it's a tragic journey for some. It's painful for not just the patient, but also their family and their friends. And the things that you see as a person goes through their cancer journey can be difficult, if not disturbing. So when I say that my journey's been weird, I see people that I haven't seen in several months, and their first reaction is, wow, you look good. You look really good. I don't know if they were expecting me to be emaciated, to be wasting away, to actually be able to fit into my high school clothes again. But when they say, wow, you look really good, I usually reply with, yep, I'm still fat, dumb, and happy. One of the ironies is that of the whole list of side effects that the immunotherapies might have, loss of appetite is one of them, and I've been completely free of that side effect. I haven't had to worry about that at all. Part of the weirdness of having cancer is that when you're a kid, and it doesn't matter if you're a kid or an adult or an older citizen, when you get that cancer diagnosis, it really changes your perspective on things. Most of us think in terms of, retirement someday. Someday I'll be moving into another job, or I'll be moving into retirement. I'll be doing something else with my life. But when you get the diagnosis of cancer, and your cancer diagnosis starts out with, oh, hey, we thought you had a squamous cell cancer, which is really easy to treat. A little radiation, a little chemotherapy, it just melts away. We don't even have to do surgery. And when you get the biopsy results back and they go, oh, you have malignant melanoma. It's not curable. We don't even know how to treat it. We'll get back to you. And for some of us, that's the last thing we hear from that guy. And that's fine, because what I have is a little bit rare. You love to be special, you want to be unique, but most of us don't want to be unique in this way. So, as you're planning for retirement, you're like, hey, you almost feel like you're in a room and somebody's going, hey, everybody who's planning on retiring in 5 years, oh, wait, not you, Bush. You should, not yet. Have you got your affairs in order? As I said, there's a whole host of potential side effects when you're doing immunotherapy treatment, and of course, for me, I don't get the loss of appetite, and I guess that's okay. One of the things I do get is I get dry mouth. Somewhere about the 6-8 week point, you wake up one morning and you're like, wow, that's not right. There's some things they say, well, you can use this rinse or that rinse for dry mouth, and what it does for me is it makes my mouth feel like it's full of Elmer's glue. So consequently, people see me with a bottle of water all the time. which my urologist has got to be thrilled, because I also get kidney stones once in a while, and I believe the last three things my urologist said to me was, drink more water, oh, and drink more water. So with the dry mouth, the best thing I can do is I keep drinking the water, and actually that's supposed to be something I would do with the immunotherapy treatment anyway. So the dry mouth, is, even though it's a side effect, has actually been a good thing to have, because it helps me out. So as I wrap up this setting, I truly hope that those of you who may have friends or family that are going on their cancer journey, and it isn't described as weird or magical like mine is, I hope that you'll please forgive my sense of humor. As I said before, it's one of my coping mechanisms. I spent time in the military. When I was in the Air Force, I said if I ever got captured, the one thing I would never do, they can take my freedom, but I don't want to let them take my sense of humor. My sense of humor is pretty important to me, and hopefully people can give me a pass on this one. So I'm not meaning to be insensitive. So as I close out this session, I want to state for the record that I don't mean any offense to those whose cancer journey is not weird or magical like mine. Again, every journey is unique, and I've been exceptionally blessed that mine's been very straightforward. When the doctors didn't understand what they were dealing with, they gave me a referral to doctors that did have experience with this. The doctors that I was referred to are on the cutting edge of immunotherapies. The immunotherapies have been game changers in the treatment of cancer. Life's a matter of timing. Being in the right place at the right time is pretty important. I know that for so many people, cancer is a painful and very difficult journey. And I do wish the best for those whose experience is not the same as mine.